everybody, it's Calxiyn here, and today we are talking about the big one. The big W. What are you doing?
The headphones are going everywhere. That's a lot of expensive...
Today, we are... Discord server, Patreon, I don't remember what I was saying. Okay, so we're here to talk about Weiss. Probably
Shot through the heart, and you're too late.
Okay, so let me just...
You give love a bad name.
I just want to bring up a couple things.
Okay, yeah.
People have drawn Weiss side by side with Sienna in, like, heaven, and they're both stabbed. My other favorite memes are... somebody taking all the screen captures of the tags, and one of them says, "I'm suing Rooster Teeth." My other honorable mention was somebody that had Weiss's face on it, with Olaf, and it says, "Oh look, I've been impaled." A lot of them are Pyrrha and Weiss comparisons, because obviously Cinder threw Pyrrha's weapon at Weiss to stab her, if life wasn't sad enough already. And
my favorite is, "You take my heart and you play your game."
You made that up, though. That's not fair.
Love, a bad name. I feel like I couldn't have been the first person.
So we're talking about Weiss's death. Now this has a lot of elements to it, so this is either going to be a long video or a two-parter, I think. So, the first thing I want to talk about is, Hunter, were you surprised? Because I say this, but I was shocked but not surprised.
Okay, so here's the thing. I thought it was going to be Jean. At the beginning, I saw two things, right? This wasn't spoiled me for at all. That reaction you saw of me was genuine. I don't know how I looked. I feel like I was more shocked when Ilya turned out to be gay. However, I basically saw Barbara Dunkelman voice of Yang tweeted, like, "So that was an interesting episode of RWBY," and then I saw someone on Tumblr, which is a reason why I probably, like, promptly exited out of the Tumblr app. Someone just said, "No."
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so something bad happened. So I knew something bad. So I thought it was going to be
These are what I call casual spoilers. So here's a good example. When I was playing Doki Doki Literature Club, at least every minute I was, like, looking in the chat, somebody was like, "Oh, Cal, you're gonna be so scared. Oh, Cal, you're gonna cry." Like, when you say stuff like that, it doesn't seem like a spoiler, but you are spoiling. Those are what I call casual spoilers.
It's like you're spoiling the mood of the game.
Because you're not, like, keeping that... Like, if I know something scary is gonna happen, I'm not gonna get scared.
Although, to be fair, that game does say, like, you know, not suitable for young
Yeah,
audiences.
but I kind of rub that off as, like, oh... Not that this is, like, a bad... Like, I don't know how to put this, but I rub that off as, like, oh, you know, they're probably just depressed or something, and it's a trigger warning.
Rub that off?
You know what I mean? I don't want to, no.
Rubbing that off is masturbation, Cal.
No.
I think you think writing that off.
No, yeah, I meant, I don't want to, like, what do you mean? Like,
Write
rub off the wrong way?
No, it's write that off.
No, I'm saying I don't want this to rub you guys the wrong way.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Rubbing off is most definitely something different.
I mean, I
know what you mean. Continue.
I don't want you guys, like, this to rub you guys the wrong way, and I don't mean to be like, oh, well, depression is nothing. Like, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying that I thought that's what the suitable for... You didn't think it was going to be a horror game. Yeah, I thought that's what the not suitable for children was, because obviously, like, depression and suicide are adult topics, yeah.
But not a horror game.
Yeah, and so, because I knew that, because as soon as Sayuri said that she was depressed, I was like, okay, well, that's, like, an interesting turn for the visual novel to take, but I didn't think that the game was going to turn out the way it did, right? And so when you guys are like, oh, Cal, you're going to be so scared... Suddenly, scared is different than sadness, because obviously you'd be sad that Sayuri is depressed, but you shouldn't be scared yet, right? And so that, it ruins the atmosphere. It's like, if in Kingdom Hearts 3, anybody says anything to me, like, you're going to die. Like, that is not an exaggeration. I'm leaving the internet for as long as it takes. I may stream it, but then I'm not going to look in the chat. Like, I may just spend an entire day, no matter how I look, just streaming the game, and then, you know, going from there.
Until you inevitably play it a 6th, 7th, and 8th time. Yeah,
and so, again, like, no one is ruining that for me. So when you guys do that, like, this is a little bit of a PSA, but don't be that person, because I had to, I was a bit mean in the Discord server, because I was like, if anybody says anything in the general chat, like, you're out, like, you're getting kicked. You're getting kicked, basically, because, like, when you say that you're so upset, because of the episode. That may not seem like a spoiler, but to people who haven't watched it, like, I didn't expect this episode to go down this route. I didn't expect it to be sad at all. Like, I thought it was just gonna be, like, I didn't expect anything major.
No, I didn't expect the character.
And so,
possible character death.
And so when people were kind of talking about, like, oh my god, I'm so shook, or like, oh my god, like, I'm crying, or whatever, like, I didn't expect them to cry. Now I expected to cry, right?
So then that's...
and then I didn't cry, because I already was expected to cry, if that makes sense.
If I remember correctly, you were, like, clutching my arm in fear.
Because I was, yeah, but it does ruin the mood a little bit, you know what I mean?
So now that we discussed whether or not we got spoiled, how did you actually feel about the events? I feel like we should take the big question out there, do you think she's actually dead? Because I think
that's such a loaded question. Like, you guys can see in my reaction, like, how I felt about her being... But I don't really feel anything right now, if that makes sense. What? Like, I'm more of an in-the-moment type of person. Like,
that's a bold-faced lie.
All
these fucking videos and theories go directly against that.
I know, but I just don't feel anything right now.
Well, that's... Okay, then just guess, like, using your...
No, but I mean, brain. Like, in terms of her... Like, I mean in terms of her getting stabbed, like, I don't feel anything. Like, like, when she got hit, like, now when in the moment I was shocked, but now, like, looking back on it,
okay,
I don't feel anything about it.
I think you're being a little dramatic.
You know what I mean? But you asked how I felt about it.
Alright, anyway, okay, do you think she's gonna live or die?
Well, that's what I wanted to get to next.
Well, which is what I fucking said.
Yeah, but before you asked me how I felt about it, and now I'm telling you how I feel. I feel just kind of, I don't want to say indifferent, but because we were kind of left on that hang, it's like we're in sort of a state of both denial and then, I want to say, like, we've hit the pause button on that. You know what I mean? Is that if it continued, I feel like it would have affected me way more, but now we're kind of in a holding position, so to speak, and that's why I'm not, like, really upset yet, because we really have no idea what's gonna happen. So there's that. In terms of if I think she's gonna die, it's kind of hard. Like, I think I'm at I don't even want to put this into percentages. I see a couple routes the show could go down. We mentioned that John could split his aura in half, if that is his semblance, and give her a part of the aura. The cow methodology
to expanding the view time, or the time, video length, let's call it, of a YouTube video is never respond to a question that you could answer in, where the fuck am I? In one sentence.
But there isn't a yes or no answer.
I guess there is. I don't think she's going to die.
Well, I don't have that answer, Hunter. I'm not as simple as a person as you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways. So what I was saying is that it kind of depends. Like, we talked about if she should. Or I guess we haven't. We did in a different video. But I think the better question is, should she die? Not will she die. In terms of should she die, I talked about this before, but I think it would be very bitter and very impactful if you show, like, nobody wants to see the character die peacefully after 10 years of living happily ever after.
I do. I absolutely do. Sometimes I don't want absolute tragedy. Sometimes I want to see characters that I like not die tragically.
The absolute tragedy in this case would be that Weiss finally changed. She finally escaped her father. She finally decided that she was going to put her all into continuing to keep the legacy of the Schnee Dust Company safe, even if she couldn't be the heiress anymore. She became a better person. She learned how to master her power, or not master, but she learned how to handle her power, and she was finally committed entirely, because before she was committed to the Schnee family name, but I feel like now she's committed in a way that she has never been before, and so I feel like in terms of whether or not she is going to die, or whether or not she should die, I think this would be a great place for her to. Because, again, I talked about this in the other video, and I'm not done yet.
Okay.
But for her to die on the cusp of starting her story, because that is really what this is that she's finally starting the story that she's always wanted, which was to escape her father, to control her powers, to finally start to be a hero and, like, take the Schnee Dust Company name out of the dust, you could say. I think that's really impactful for her to die now then, because she is literally on the brink of everything that she had wanted to achieve, and then it just falls like she never does. And that's the worst part to kill off a character, when they finally, like, not when things start going their way. I don't want to say it like that, but when
things start going their way, essentially.
Yeah, essentially, I guess so. But I guess a better word for it is when they finally figured out what path they're going to take and are along it, and they don't get, they don't even get a first step off the path. I don't want to say they fail, but they get shot down right away. Yeah, because I feel like that's kind of what it was like with Penny, is that Penny had all this great potential, and that Penny had dreams of becoming a real girl and, like, fighting and saving people against the Grimm. And right when Penny was... I think so.
She never really
She said she wanted to help people, I thought, because she was programmed to protect people.
Maybe? I don't remember that. Anyways, yeah, continue.
And she wanted to fight in the tournament, right? She said that, at least.
I guess that's true.
And so, when Penny was finally on the brink of showing the world what she could really do, and that she was not a child in need of protection, because, you know, Ironwood was like, your father wouldn't like this, or whatever. I think that was Ironwood in the car, but you understand what I mean? And so, when she was finally on the brink of sort of getting everything that she wanted, to be able to finally show the world that she could fight, and that, again, like, she wanted that freedom, right? That's something she definitely wanted. She wanted to show her father that she was capable of protecting herself in the world, so she could kind of be free and go around and do her thing and make friends, right? And when she finally was starting to get all of that, Cinder was like, how about we don't do that, right? And so that's what made Penny's death more tragic than I think Pyrrha's, and Hunter really wants to talk about Pyrrha, I think. And so we'll get to that in a minute. But that's what made Penny's death worse for me than Pyrrha, is that you have all of this sudden potential, and then there it goes. You know what I mean? Like, there is the character that was sort of this, like, burning brightly, and then their light was just snuffed out. With Pyrrha, the reason why I didn't find her death that impactful for me was because...
First off, you knew she was gonna die because you checked the wiki.
By accident.
You weren't surprised.
I wanted a picture of my waifu, and then... but I think the other reason why is that, this is something that Hunter, I think, wanted to talk about, was I think it was very clear that Pyrrha served for Jean and Ruby's development, and that she wasn't really here to be a real person, and that she wasn't in her prime to achieving anything. I don't want to put it, like, in a mean way, but it wasn't, she didn't have a turning point in her character story, right? She had already gotten I don't want to say she had gotten everything she wanted, but, you know, she was already a renowned fighter. She had, like, obviously made friends at school. She was a very beloved person. She didn't, like, other than trying to get John, right? Yeah. She didn't really have anything like Weiss where it was this giant turning point. Like, she wasn't really snuffed out of her prime. She kind of just gave us everything that she could. And then went away. Because really, what she was made for was a plot device at the end of the day. That's also the problem I have with Sun, if you guys want to go see our video about him, unfortunately.
Although I feel like they could have given...
They could have, but they didn't.
And I mean, I've read so much fanfiction where they give Pyrrha such a wonderful arc that I feel as though they really wanted to. But she was designed for that show.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. She was designed to die, and being designed to die is the worst sort of character you can make sometimes. It really depends on how you do it, but sometimes it's so clear and so shallow when a character has been designed to die in order to forward the plot, or to forward another character's development. Weiss's death doesn't feel like that for me, because it is this kind of light being snuffed out. It's almost like if somebody went into the middle of, like, a fairy tale story, like Beauty and the Beast, and just went in and killed Belle. Like, midway through, like, somebody just went in, killed Belle, and then the story's changed forever. That's kind of what Weiss dying feels like for me. Is that somebody has hijacked a fairy tale and has given it an ending it was never supposed to have. And so if Weiss does die, I think that's a very good way to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, no, I don't disagree with you.
Because it's like, it's hijacking her in the middle of her story, whereas Pyrrha was already at the end.
Yes, just one, I guess now it's my turn for my take, I suppose. Mm-hmm. So,
I thought you wanted to talk about The problem with Weiss's death I would have if it was another thing to serve Jean's development.
Well,
because
I
people
hope they don't
accused RT before of only making Pyrrha to kind of further Jean's development, and I was like, okay, I can see how people think that way, but we don't have any direct...
I'm pretty sure they... I mean, it's clear to see. What the fuck else was she used for?
I mean, RWBY, which... I guess to a lesser extent.
They barely had any interaction.
I know, see, that's the problem. And so I understand, and a lot of people kind of call that out for being a little... I don't want to say sexist necessarily, but that's probably...
Not fun, because she was...
I mean, not like fun, but also it's just, it's not... Like, when you make a show that is like, all about female... Like, all about girls, and all about sort of, like... You know, it was marketed as a show where girls are saving the world, and then you kill off probably one of your best skilled girls at the time to serve Jean's development, and Jean isn't... Like, you can understand how people may look at that and be like, you know, like, that's kind of shitty if they're trying to present themselves as, like, I don't even want to say feminist show, because that has a bad rap, but if they're trying to say it's a girl power show... And then killing off the girls just so, like, one lousy boy can get the development. Like, Jean isn't that good of a character, guys. We've talked about this before.
Okay, so people keep on bringing up the idea that I think Weiss would die for Jean's development. I don't see that happening.
Well, you brought that up. You said that.
Well, I bring it up because I feel like that's why Pyrrha died, and I feel like that won't happen for Jean, because I just don't see the connections. I hope that... I disagree with you in that you like... I mean, I agree with you that, like, there's something to be said about tragic, unfulfilled lives. I think that's, like, interesting. However...
you just don't... Like, I understand... From a personal perspective, I don't think you want that to happen. Is that kind of what you're saying? No, because,
honestly, sometimes... Because in one respect, it's harder because you're killing a beloved character, but in other respects, it's like, how about we have her continue to grow in a character, and not just, like, cop out, like, I don't know what to do with this character anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think it's not that they don't know what to do with her. That's what I'm saying, that they know exactly what they could do with her, but instead they're choosing to end it short for an impact.
That just seems cheap. That just seems cheap. Yeah, it seems
like
a cheap
I see it the other way around, because I think it's cheaper if they only wrote her up to this point, you know what I mean?
Instead of having to work out all these, like, complicated, like, relations to current characters and newer characters, like, people often, like, they've talked about her getting a new love interest, instead of working on all that, like, let's just kill her, have her be unsuccessful. Like, I just want her to thrive.
It doesn't feel cheap for me. And because I feel like, I don't know if they would write this way, but basically...
Here's the thing, Cal, you love killing off main characters, so of course you think this is okay, but everyone else disagrees with you.
What I did for one of the stories I'm writing is I made a version of the story where everybody got out alive differently. And so basically, the main characters were split off into pairs. If I ever release this, you guys will understand. But basically, I made it so I wrote a different version of each ending where each pair got out alive, because the idea was everybody else will die, but this one pair will get out. And so I wrote those, and then from there I decided who would start to die. You know what I mean? So I didn't just stop their story where I thought that I was going to kill them off. Instead, I made all of their stories to the very end and then decided where to cut it. If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And yes, that's a lot of extra work, but I feel like that's kind of what they would have done with Weiss. Is that they would have planned out for the rest of her story to happen, and then maybe somewhere along the way they decided for her to die. And that makes it less cheap for me anyway, because if you had already, like, thought of the entire ending where she lived sort of happily ever after, if you want to say, or even just an ending for her arc in general, and then you go and manually cut it and just, instead of just stopping writing, that shows that you had intent to continue but then decided to stop. You know what I mean? That means you wrote out her entire arc. Like, it's like if you write 5,000 words and then cut it somewhere around, like, 3,000. Like, you still wrote those 5,000 words and you still figured out what to do. It's not like Cheap where they didn't know what to do with her anymore, so they got rid of her. But we don't know how they wrote her yet. We don't even know if she's dead.
I feel like, so I feel like how with that is just, it seems like sort of cheap, like, just to, like, kill the character off instead of trying to find new ways. Because I think it is easier.
But I don't think that they're out of new ways to use her, though.
Yeah, but don't you think it is easier to, like, then why don't they continue to do that other than just making it wantonly tragic? And I'm like, I feel like we don't need a character with more tragedy. Have a little uplifting.
I guess.
That's like, we could argue for this for literally forever, and I'm sick and I don't want to have to do that.
I understand what you're saying.
So in conclusion...
Wait, we're not done?
In conclusion, for me...
Oh.
I don't want her to die. I don't think she will die. She might still die.
I think narratively it would be interesting for her to die. I know that, Hunter, you personally want happiness.
Yes,
like,
unlike you, you depressed little shit.
Well, I don't know. Because I think that...
You do not know how to make a happy ending.
You're right.
Your version of a happy ending is someone... like, crippled on a wheelchair, like, walking around, not walking, I suppose, wheeling around New York City. Jesus Christ. No, Cal, because it's just that you don't know how to have happiness for characters, or having characters be fulfilling.
From a personal perspective, I don't want her to die. I really like Weiss as a character, and I think that they could do a bunch of cool things with her.
Like my favorite character.
My only argument is that I think that they know the cool things that they could do with her. With Roman, I think they ran out of cool things, and so it was time for him to go.
With Roman, I think they ran out of ideas.
Yeah,
with
that's
Penny,
what I'm saying. With Weiss, I don't think they ran out of ideas, and with Penny, I don't think they ran out either. So that's the difference. That's what I classify as cheapness. Is with Roman, he overstayed his welcome, and they had to get rid of him.
I don't even think I think he stayed.
He was only supposed to stay for Volume 1.
Everyone fucking knows that, but I feel like he stayed for just long enough. And then Penny, I felt like she stayed for just long enough. You could have gotten more out of Pyrrha, but like, whatever. What do you think will come out of this?
I don't know!
Because I think it may just be like further, maybe.
We talked about John's aura splitting. And so that may save her. I think there's other possibilities, though. Remember how Ozpin was like, my cane can do all sorts of tricks.
Yeah, maybe it turns into a defibrillator or something.
I think that would be very interesting because...
She just sticks it in the hole where the spear went, and so it...
You think that would be such a random line, though, to an extent, right?
Yeah.
Like, because he was like, you know, like, my stick has a lot of tricks, you know what I mean? Because it was a weird scene to include, right? So that would tie it in together if it actually did have some healing properties.
What if she is dead, but then the relic can bring her back to life?
But it's a relic of knowledge.
The knowledge to bring someone back to life? I don't fucking know.
I mean, Raven said, I have seen people come back from the dead. Or what if Ozpin turns her into a bird or something to try to save her life?
What would she... I feel like she would be an albatross. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Crow's already an albatross.
He's a crow.
Yeah, but they call him an albatross.
Yeah, because...
I'm a cursed black cat, I'm an albatross.
But so is Weiss, because she got kicked out of her family. You know what the funniest jokes are, Cal?
What?
The jokes you have to explain.
I know, but I was just joking, and then you explained my joke! Okay, anyways. Yeah, so... Personally, I don't want her to die. Narratively, I have interest in her dying, but I also think... I think the story could go either way, if I'm honest. Like, I think it could be interesting with her dying, or interesting without her dying. But I think that... There's more of a chance for them to fuck up if they do kill her, and that's the problem.
And I hope they don't fuck up.
Because there's more of an opportunity for them to ruin a perfectly good character death. If that makes sense.
I just hope that... I guess the last thing I really have to say on the subject is that I still then decided if whether or not I feel like they would fuck with me and they would hurt my beautiful little baby and they would kill Weiss. But, I don't, honestly, but honestly, like, she has a, well, first off, a lot of people were like, well, you see, she actually got stabbed in the liver, and liver, stabbings have only an 4% mortality rate, and it was burning, so it cauterized the wound.
Castrated.
You thought it was castrated, which is hilarious. I shouldn't have corrected you, and so then the rest of your life you think cauterization and castration are the same thing?
I knew they were different, I just forgot. Anyways there was something else I wanted to talk about real quick, is that we talked about this in If the Main Character Can Die
She looks okay. That doesn't look like a belly shot. You know, Cinder wasn't giving it her all.
What I meant to say was...
Do you think because she, like, she
Hold
didn't hit
on
the
second.
spine because she, like, is lost an eye and maybe not as good as aim, like, lost some depth perception, maybe?
What I was gonna say is that we talked about parallels a while ago, and just the parallel between Yang getting hurt and then Blake running away to what could be RWBY, Weiss getting hurt and then RWBY staying by her side, or in terms of death, whereas Team Juniper didn't really seem to talk about their grief with Pyrrha, it's a much bigger thing for Team RWBY, and I feel like that would be an interesting narrative contrast. And we talked about how Jean should rescue Weiss already in the Jean's Fate video, so...
I don't know if I necessarily want that either. Honestly, my favorite part about this is I have no idea where it's going.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to do this video, because
I'm really excited
like,
for
we
it.
have ideas, but I know that people probably have better ideas than me. And I know that by the time this video comes out, or not even by then, by the time we're done recording, I'm gonna go in a Discord server and get more ideas for videos.
Oh,
and Hunter's gonna be like, oh my god. Like, and yeah.
I'm in university. I have way more, like, I'm way more hectic.
We're
and busy
on break!
No, but I will be soon, and, like, I have a job, and I'm way more hectic and busy than you, and, like, I don't know how I'm gonna fucking deal with you and your bullshit. Anyways. Also, somebody made me a Cinder's Grim thumbnail even before I asked them to. So that's nice. I like how you guys are on the ball in the game. Lord.
So, are you done?
Yeah,
Do we have everything that we're good to say? So yeah, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. To be honest, by the time this video comes out, we're probably gonna have 10 more videos. We recorded 10 videos this week. Isn't that a little crazy?
All with a fucking stomach flu.
Anyways,
Fun.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to check out my Discord server and pledge on Patreon. And we will see you later. Maybe we will have more videos out this week than just this, but only time can tell. So we will see you later. Bye, guys.